Welcome to another edition of Winthrop Close Up. I'm Justin Bridwell.
And I'm Venetia Cabo. Thanks for joining us. In what has been called one of the most important presidential elections in recent U.S. history, George W. Bush won his re-election bid for the White House. The outcome of the hotly contested election was unknown until Senator John Kerry conceded to Bush the day after voting ended.
Earlier today, I spoke to President Bush and I offered him and Laura our congratulations on their victory.
All eyes turned to Ohio late on Election Day. Much like the state of Florida in the 2000 election, Ohio's 20 electoral votes decided the winner. Winthrop political science professor Dr. Scott Huffman said over the next 4 years, healing wounds caused by the war in Iraq and continuing to revive the economy at home should be President Bush's main priorities.
Foreign policy-wise, trying to mend some old bridges, a push in Iraq, economically making permanent the Bush tax cut.
In local elections, Republican Jim DeMint defeated Democrat Inez Tenenbaum in the race for United States Senator by a larger margin than many expected. Huffman attributed DeMint's success to his alliances with other Republican leaders.
In a Republican state, that advantage just increased when he started running with two popular Republicans, Lindsey Graham and Mark Sanford. And as soon as he started associating himself with the Bush White House is extremely popular in South Carolina. Those were very long coattails, and Jim DeMint was stapled to them.
Another key local issue is the elimination of the mini bottle. Voters decided to remove the mini bottle restriction from the state constitution and allow free pour of liquors in bars and restaurants. But before you run to your favorite bar, remember that changing a state's constitution will take months, and the change to free pour will be gradual.
Higher voter turnout forced many Americans to wait in long lines on Election Day. Will Smalley has the story on crowded polls in York County.
President George W. Bush and Senator John Kerry hit the polls early Tuesday to cast their ballots. In York County, large turnouts forced voters to spend most of their time waiting in line. Typical was the scene at the University precinct located at Sullivan Middle School. This precinct has over 1,100 registered voters. Polls opened at 7 a.m. with half-hour waits. Lines didn't deter students from voting. Winthrop senior Lori Black says she had to get her voice heard.
I guess whatever I voted for, I would just like to know that it actually counted and taken into consideration.
On Richmond Drive in Rock Hill, early numbers showed approximately 500 voters by 11 o'clock. City Hall also saw its share of eager voters. With over 1,400 registered voters, crowds were big obstacles for the citizens. Grace Lutheran Church off of Oakland Avenue saw a number of Winthrop students casting votes. Grace Lutheran has over 1,200 registered voters. The polls have closed and the people have spoken, and South Carolina's 8 electoral votes have gone to President George W. Bush, just as they did in the 2000 election. With photographer Alan Garmendia, I'm Will Smalley reporting.
Crowded polls and long lines signal a deep concern among American voters this year. Matt Tollison takes a look at what issues drove Winthrop students to the polls.
Many students came out on Election Day to speak their minds at the polls. One big issue in this election was the war in Iraq. Winthrop student Matt Estes says he likes what Bush has done with the war.
I mostly think over the Iraqi stuff like that, the war, I think Bush is doing a good job handling it well.
While Estes is for the war, Winthrop student Matt Montgomery says he wants to get out of Iraq.
I'm against the war, and I'm sick and tired of hearing, 8 Marines getting killed every day. I mean, I understand that the war is necessary. I mean, I've heard that from people that are smarter than me.
John Kerry has a number of issues that he's focused on in this election, and Estes says he just says what people want to hear.
Just basically that, he does kind of flip-flop, and I think he's just saying what he wants the American people to hear just to get the votes, and he doesn't actually take a stance.
With President Bush winning another 4-year term in a very tight election, these key issues brought up by the Winthrop community will be a hot topic over the next 4 years. With photographer Johanna Snyder, I'm Matt Tollison reporting.
If you're still having trouble getting around campus, stay tuned because when we come back, we'll have an update on campus construction.
Stay tuned. More news, sports, and the coastal events calendar are up next. Old buildings are missing, holes have been dug, and new buildings are rising higher. Winthrop's campus is definitely a construction zone. The site where Brazil Hall once stood has been cleared and leveled and will soon store building materials for the Lois Rame West Health Center. The construction site for that project is also shaping up nicely despite students' complaints about noise and inconvenience. Students need to be patient because these projects take time, especially with setbacks like this overturned dump truck.
New buildings haven't been limited to the Winthrop campus. A popular student housing complex is also ready to expand. After looking at marketing research results, University Place has felt the need for more space and leisure area for students. According to the area manager, Connie Campbell, some of the ideas for the activity spot in the new development include some student-centered retail spaces, a game room, or even a weight room, among some other tentative ideas. The project does not have a definite completion time, but students can contact the rental office for more information.
Graduation is just around the corner, and if you need cultural events, you'd better hurry.
Find out about upcoming cultural events in the Eagle Sports Update when we come back.
Welcome back. I'm Brandon Stevenson with your Eagle Sports Update. Winthrop men's soccer team is heading into tournament play. Matt Tollison has the story.
The 2004 men's soccer season has been filled with many twists and turns. The men are 7-9 overall, 6-3 at home, and just 1-5 on the road. The men are led by senior goalkeeper Steve Winton, who was a 2002 and 2003 All-Big South selection. The Eagles are led offensively by junior forward Dee Beedra with 9 goals on the season. Head coach Rich Posapenko says both freshman play and veteran consistency is a key to winning this tournament.
Two freshmen, Sean Weir and John Gilkerson. And then we have our consistent players. Davey Gary's done well for us all year. Steve Winton's been hurt, but he's been playing fairly well. We're solid defensive. I think we have to. We just got to make or eliminate mental errors, and I think we're going to be all right.
Heading into this year's Big South tournament, Coach Posapenko and his men's soccer team look to have a repeat of the 2002 season when they brought home the Big South championship. Following that tough loss to the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, the men have 2 more road games before they head into the 2004 Big South Championships at Birmingham Southern College in Birmingham, Alabama. For Winthrop Close Up, I'm Matt Tollison reporting.
The Winthrop Fencing Club recently competed in a local tournament, and one member's performance was a cut above the rest. The club has always been a competitive group. 6 members took part in the recent competition. Michael Edgecombe, the president of the club, received his D rating at the competition. The Fencing Club meets Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. in Peabody.
What a D means is you're a competent fencer. You kind of moved up to the next step. C, B, and A are where you actually get to, wow, you're a really good fencer. And I'm really hoping to get to a C because I feel like I'm at a C rating level.
That's your Eagle Sports Update. I'm Brandon Stevenson. Now here's your cultural event calendar.
I'm Tawala Williams with your cultural event calendar. Several Winthrop students teamed up this semester to produce a completely original play. Raynard Gatson tells us about this story.
Have you ever wanted to write or direct your own theatrical production? 2 Winthrop students had that chance. Wake, written by Franklin Jones and directed by Elizabeth Bridges, is the story of 2 men who meet at a funeral of a woman they both love. In an unexpected twist, however, it is revealed that the woman was married. Students, faculty, and friends packed the studio theater in Johnson Hall to support the endeavor of their fellow classmates.
I feel really strongly about the student productions. It's one thing that we have in the theater department that we really feel strongly about. It gives opportunities not only to be actors, but student designers, student directors, and things like that.
Elizabeth Bridges and Franklin Jones began the Wake Project last spring, and thanks to the encouragement of the theater department, dozens of students have enjoyed the fruits of their labor.
I actually know that the guy who wrote it, Franklin. We had a couple classes together, and I was really looking forward to coming tonight, and I really thought he did a great job.
I would never have thought of a storyline like that, and it was really neat to see something that weird and that different come into the theater.
The collaborative effort was well received by students, which was an expectation of Bridges and Jones.
We've acted in a very professional manner throughout the whole process. Just the fact that we're capable of it, and maybe that would give us more leeway to do other things in the future.
Well, the biggest thing that I hope people take away from the play is they're not indifferent. They can hate the play, they can love the play, but if they leave with an emotional reaction, that means it worked.
An accomplishment of this magnitude shows that with vision and talent, anything is possible. With photographer Tawala Williams, this is Renard Gadsden reporting.
A free-form titled What's Next in Iraq will be held November the 8th in Plowden Auditorium at 7 p.m. The event will give a post-election perspective on foreign policy. From November the 10th through the 13th, the Winthrop Dance Theater returns to the stage at 8 p.m. Admission is $5 with a Winthrop ID. And don't forget, the Foreign Film Series continues this Thursday, offering free foreign films for cultural event credit. The movies are shown at 8 p.m. every Thursday in Kynette Auditorium. That's it for your cultural events calendar. I'm Tawala Williams.
Thanks, Tawala. That's all for this edition of Winthrop Close Up. Join us next time and learn about students who are fighting cancer with their research. I'm Venetia Cabo.
And I'm Justin Bridwell. Thanks for watching.